This is a message from your guides reading for the child. Okay, so I have two group crystals here, and then I have Shadakite here. Um, and so I'm going to surround us in light in a second, and then I'll show you these. I was actually having some confusion for a bit of who I was supposed to be reading because first I just went back and forth like several times thinking I'm going to read you, and then I'm thinking I'm going to read the heart chakra. So I'm doing your reading. I have your picture up, but I also have the one of you and the heart chakra up because I think some things might come up regarding the two of you. So I'm just going to put that out there before I start because that was a little bit confusing. And so when I surround you in the positive space for the reading, I'm going to be using her picture as well. So I have one of you and then I have one of the two of you, and I think I have one of her too here. So here is my sodalite. Just get right into the crystals. And my zoazite. So these are my two group crystals. So sodalite is a throat chakra stone, so it's about your truth, expressing your truth, being your authentic self, divine communication, communication in general, setting boundaries. There's also something coming in about creating a protective kind of space. Oh, okay. So it feels like setting boundaries can actually have to do with that as well, more energetically, even though I don't feel like sodalite necessarily has to do with that exactly, but that's something coming in as well. One thing sodalite does have to do that they're bringing up is mental clarity. Okay, so that's another thing that I'll get into in a minute. So zoisite is about trusting the universe, trusting kind of the flow, divine timing, and trusting how everything is going to work out and flow together, how you're going to see things come to fruition in the end, even if you're not aware of certain things right now. Okay, so then I have my Shadakite here. So this is the one that I pulled for this reading. So this has to do with grounding, um, and using earth energies, healing with earth energies. So this can also be, healing finances and just because it has to do with grounding and you're specifically using that energy and using earth energies to heal. So this can also be physical, body repair. It can have things to do with DNA. This is all stuff that's kind of coming in that I'm repeating. So I don't normally say all of those specific things like healing or like the physical body or DNA or finances. Usually with Shadakite, I say grounding with earth energy. So obviously those things can come up, but they normally don't. So this also has to do with clairvoyance, really any kind of third eye, psychic kind of abilities, and healing abilities as well. So really any psychic abilities, but it also feels like some kind of psychic sort of enhancements going on right now. And they're reminding me of another reading that I recently did, and um, this other person's guides, another member of our group, but this other person's guides was talking about the solar eclipse, and they were talking about some kind of DNA activations and some kind of psychic activations. Yeah, there was another reading that I did, somebody else in our group, and they were talking about psychic enhancements. That was maybe, I don't know, week and a half, week ago, something like that. That was someone else, but they're reminding me of that too. So it looks like we've got some of that going on here as well. I feel like that's part of the reason that I pulled the Shadakite. Um, so I feel like this is going on maybe in a little bit of different ways, but I feel like this is going on with both of you. Now with you specifically, so the child, I definitely feel like there's some DNA stuff going on, some DNA activations, but then I also feel like repair. And I feel like you can think about DNA repair as well when you're doing cleansings. But there's also something activating. So they're using this word prayer, like almost like that's important when you are doing these cleanses, to almost have like mindful intent. That's what they mean by prayer. So they're not saying, pray to, the universe or God Almighty or whatever. They're not saying like do like actual praying, unless you want to, but that's not the way that they're meaning it. They don't mean like pray to some individual God with specific words or something. They mean like a mindful intent. So they mean like more like affirmations. But this also has to do with your state of mind, to be in a kind of open, receiving kind of state of mind, or they're almost saying like a prayerful state of mind. So this is like where you are open, you're open to receiving. So you feel like something's going to come true, in other words. You feel like someone's answering you. You feel like you're being heard, like you're being answered, like you're about to receive something. So they're saying that you need to be on the receiving end of things. You need to always feel like you're on the receiving end of what's about to manifest. You're going to receive it. So you can put something out, and obviously you're always putting something out. So this is you generating something, even if you're receiving what you're generating. But obviously your guides are helping. The universe is creating it along with you. So you can almost, in a sense, say like the collective is creating it along with you, or whatever you want to call it. The universal flow of everything is creating it along with you. Source is creating it along with you. Spirit. So this energy is creating it along with you. So it's kind of a co-creator in a sense, or you can say you're a co-creator. It's really equally both. But they're saying that you need to think of it as you. So they don't want you to give your power away to something. This is something that you are connected to, and it is essentially you, and it's essentially part of you, even though you're an individual at the same time. But you're also an individual with the power to create, and that's tapped into this infinite, yeah, they're saying it's like you're a vessel that the infinite almost comes through, and you allow that, and you are, um, you're unique. So what you create and what you put out will be unique, and the way that you receive something will be unique. So it's like you're an individual face of the consciousness, in a sense. Yeah, they're saying, no, not in a sense. That's what it is. So you're like an individual connected to this whole entire thing, and it's part of you, and you're part of it. So you are it essentially, but then you're also almost like an individual operating through it, if that makes sense. A lot of water there. I'm probably going to drink some more in a minute. Okay, so part of the reason that I have these pictures up here. Okay, I gotta surround us all in some positive space for the reading. I surrounded the room, but I don't think I've done that yet. Okay, so what am I using here? Okay, so I'm gonna use zoazite first. Okay, so this is the picture with the two of you. So I'm going to surround you with some positive, abundant thoughts here with this zoisite. Open to all possibilities. That's something that the zoisite brings through. So it just kind of sets an intent or adds an intent, the crystals that I use, when I'm doing the visualization. Obviously, I could just, visualize some space, but I really like to use these because I definitely feel like, they add their own unique energies to each reading, and they kind of enhance everything. They enhance probably even my ability to communicate, pick up on things, all of that. Although I can just as easily do it without them. Okay. But I really like working with them, and I don't know why I keep feeling to say this. Maybe this is related to you in some way and working with them. Oh, you said something about working with crystals. Oh gosh, you had a question about working with crystals. I completely forgot about that. In your email, you had a question about some specific crystals that you were working with. I don't remember what type they were. Azurite or something. I don't know. I had never even heard of these two crystals actually that you brought up. So maybe I'll look into them. Okay, some of this is having to do with DNA repair. They're saying that you might be attracted to different things or different types of crystals. I feel like with the heart chakra too, there might be some different things that she might be attracted to because of certain enhancements that are happening. These feel like more DNA enhancements. I don't feel like as much repair is going on with her. I feel like with you, it's kind of this combination. But I also feel like there's some physical repair happening, like in your body. And with the cleanses that you're attempting to do. So there was some kind of interesting stuff coming up with that when you asked that question. I just read the email. Like I said, I was going back and forth between I didn't know who to read. I'm about to read the heart chakra, and then all of a sudden I'm in your email. And then I'm like, wait a minute, why am I in her email when I'm supposed to read the heart chakra? And then as I was reading the email, though, all of a sudden your guides are talking about something actually with the two of you, almost like a suggestion, a kind of creative kind of thing that they were kind of coming up with. So this is like you can talk about this and see what you both want to do with it. They're kind of throwing it out there. Obviously, you don't have to go along with every suggestion that they put out. But this is almost feeling kind of fun or creative or kind of playful as well. So there was this kind of with the cleanses that you're doing, so the child, there was this feeling coming up about the DNA repair, but that there was also some physical body kind of repair that they wanted to do at the same time, and then also linked to the DNA repair, and then some chakra repair. And then also it was feeling like there's also some deep cleansing that they want to do where they kind of stir up some chakras and activate them. So there's different things that they want to do with these physical cleanses. This didn't feel like one. Because when I kind of read it, you were basically saying, I want to get their feedback on that. And there was kind of this feeling from them right away, like this is definitely not enough. So fasting is good. Cleansing is good. But there's almost this feeling from your guide, almost like experimentation, as strange as that sounds. So it feels kind of like experimentation and kind of like documenting it. And I kind of want to smile because this almost feels like a fun type of thing, even though it's like a cleanse. And some people might be like, oh my God, a cleanse. But your guides almost have this playful kind of woohoo kind of energy coming through with this. So I'm smiling. Even though they're talking about cleansing. But cleanses are good. So I don't know why I'm saying that, but I'm just saying I know how some people look at cleansing. Right, but they're saying you don't have to look at it in that way. Clearly, they're not. It's all perspective, as they've said in a lot of your readings. Um, so, a lot of things that they want to do with the cleansing. So, there was almost this feeling like multiple cleanses um, that you do for like a period of time or periods of time. Um, but it felt like more than one. And it didn't feel like they were like right back to back either. It felt like kind of alternating between different ideas, almost, wait, why is the word philosophies coming in? I don't know, but almost different ways of kind of doing the cleanses. Okay, like you could almost do like you could do something with Ayurveda, or you could like, okay, so different types of cleanses. That's what they mean. And the reason they're saying philosophy is because obviously there are almost different mindsets behind each one. When a person, or let's say a religion, or some type of set of beliefs, or just if you know a group or a group of people or one person gets an idea or some ideas, obviously there are some intents or some beliefs, some sets of beliefs behind it. So that plays a part as well. Um, they're saying that that's something that you can kind of tweak and kind of work with or not work with, and you just have to kind of go with what you resonate with. Um, but it kind of felt like you're alternating between them, but it also felt like you're kind of taking a break. It feels like you don't want to shock your body too much, and you kind of want to, so in other words, you don't want to just, fast all the time or cleanse all the time, but it almost felt like this idea of experimentation and almost like documenting, how do you say it? Almost like documenting what you experience and think about, your intents with each one and why. Why are you doing it? What purpose is it supposed to fulfill? Now, I also feel like if you were to do this, I feel like during one of these, I feel like this Kundalini activation that you've been trying to do, I definitely feel like this would kind of spring up because of all the repair and all the different things that they're attempting to do. And I feel like that would also create a lot of psychic enhancements, because that just kind of creates this flow, this kind of burst of energy and this kind of flow with your meridians in between all of your different chakras, and that can produce a lot of different types of activations. But they're saying that you're going to feel it physically. You're definitely going to feel physically like you are repairing. Okay, and there's something about having more clarity of mind, but that's more with the cleansing specifically. That's not only about the Kundalini activation, although some of that might come through with that, but it feels like it's especially linked with this the cleansing, and that's one of the things that they're going to target, and that the cleansing is going to help them and help you to produce is more clarity of mind. And it feels like things that you're not really seeing yet or seeing right now, they're going to kind of become more clear, kind of come to fruition more. And this also feels like this was feeling like it was in terms of like career and life purpose, and also even love. It felt like even between like you and your husband, if you're more clear, then you can both see one another more clearly, it feels like. It also feels like money would flow more easily. It would be more easily generated, and ideas for it though would become more, they're using the word substantial. Those would almost increase. and almost like legitimate, like solid kinds of ideas that would actually do something, that could actually create something, that you can do something with. So they're more solid, they're more grounded or fixed, they're more certain. They're more certain to have like an actual physical outcome or physically manifest. When you're more clear, you can see those things more easily. So there's this kind of lack of clarity with some of these concepts that they're ready to burst through now. Okay, so where is the heart chakra coming in with this stuff? So they kept talking now, like I already said this before, you know, choose this, don't choose this, whatever, you can talk about it amongst your two selves. So you've been talking about this YouTube channel that you want to do. You want to bring through all these spiritual types of topics and different things. So this kind of suggestion, okay, firstly, so one of the things that they're saying is that if you were to do that, what you would create, it would almost be a little bit more advanced. So in other words, like everybody, not everybody, but like there are general topics, okay? There are general topics that a lot of different spiritual people put out on their channels. There's a lot of information on YouTube about kind of general things. This feels like it would be a little bit more including your own journey, and because it feels like it's going to have to do with things that are a little bit deeper, like removing thought forms and even doing cleanses, and like the impact that they have, you know, and different types of enhancements, emotional types of things, and how to get through stuff like that, and how to more advance spiritually. So it's not just kind of topics, or they're even saying kind of wishy-washy, not to say that other channels are, but they're saying like you're going to get to the core of things. You're not going to more tap the surface, or talk about like a wide variety of topics. And again, that's not them saying that's wishy-washy. Obviously, there are a lot of channels that are supposed to do that, and different people can get something from all of those. But what they mean is that they are saying though that you're not going to water down anything. You're going to talk on a kind of deeper spiritual level. People who are taking like their sort of ascension process seriously, or their spiritual journey. They want to advance more and progress along that. And those are going to be more the people that you're going to be reaching or speaking to. But you can also do it in a fun kind of way. So it's not just going to be this serious, you know, thing. They're saying they don't even think that that would be possible for you to do, either of you. They don't mean like it wouldn't be possible for you to speak seriously on any topic, but they mean more like it would be impossible to not have fun too. Or they're also using the word weird. So, let's see here. So in other words, they're saying that they know that you guys, you're going to come through. And you're going to be kind of weird and kooky and fun, and, you know, laugh along the way. But at the same time, you're going to be getting into more kind of serious topics. So you're going to be yourselves, but you're still going to talk seriously about kind of deeper things. Or deeper levels in a sense, if you were to do this, because they're saying that you guys are more advanced in this way, and this is kind of the areas that you focus on with yourselves. So wouldn't that be the type of thing that you would put out and that you would create? So they're saying that as a suggestion, they're saying, wouldn't it be cool if you guys kind of did some of this together, where you kind of experimented with some different cleanses, they're saying, in a safe way. So you have to think about how you could, they're saying would have to think about how you can also incorporate breaks. You also have to kind of, they're saying that you also have to incorporate affirmations. They're also saying you have to be careful and not do things like, if you're in the middle of the break, go and eat some really, really terrible food, or eat really terrible food right after or something. They're saying that you don't want to do that because that could be really, really harsh and affect you really negatively. So they're saying that you also have to plan and think about what you're going to eat soon after, even like for the next few days after. You have to think about things like that. And also, you can be eating, obviously, and do a cleanse. It doesn't all have to be not eating. In fact, they're saying that it shouldn't all be not eating, because they're saying it's different types, and they're suggesting to try different ones, because the point is almost seeing your reaction to them, seeing what it can enhance and what it can bring you. And again, they're just saying that this is all a suggestion to play with. They also know that if you do go along with this, you're going to be, bringing your own thoughts into it and kind of rearranging things however you guys want to. So this is a suggestion. But they're also saying, like, what if you were to document it, and that these were some of the YouTube videos that you did, and you talked about like the different experiences that you had. And they're saying that it would be really good to talk about your spiritual experiences, and this would be a kind of way to kind of open things up. And it would be something that you're doing together, so that automatically kind of sets up your channel as we're doing this together, and it's like a journey that we're both experiencing, and we're two friends and we're doing it together. And almost like why you're both needed with one another to help each other through the process on the channel. Like, it's clear how you kind of both work with one another to yourselves, but it almost feels like it's obvious to anybody, if you're doing something like that, that there's kind of this sort of support system. And then also it feels like people get too ideas, but they're saying that it's good when you're doing like cleanses and even deep spiritual work. It's really good to have someone that you're doing it with, someone who's kind of holding your hand, and that you can kind of fall back on, in a sense, like if you have a low day or whatever it is. So they're saying that you're two friends supporting each other. They're saying that this, in their opinion, would be like this would be a kind of unique and fun way to kind of start out a channel. And start out your channel and talking about different things. And it also shows the kind of spiritual channel that you would be. That you actually want to do things and see results, and talk about those in depth, and what someone can really do to advance spiritually, different things that they can try, versus just generally talking about, surface kind of topics here and there. And or kind of like a, no, not here or there. You can talk about them all the time. That wasn't right. They don't mean here or there. They mean like this or that. Just, you can talk about this wide variety of things, just a little bit of this, a little of that, a little of everything. But not necessarily or you can choose a few and you get more in depth with them, if that makes sense. Or you just kind of in general have this sort of concept or idea, like, you know, DNA repair and enhancements, or like not that specifically, but that's like something that can be included along the lines of cleansing, you know, removing thought forms and toxins from the body and your spiritual self and getting aligned, um, emotional healing, psychic enhancements, and just improving spiritually. And how can you become better and feel freer and more alive in every area? How can you advance spiritually? How can you master yourself spiritually? They're saying that this would be more what your channel would incorporate or talk about. You don't have to go into it in this exact way. They're saying, hey, this might be fun or this might be cool. And it's definitely a suggestion, especially since it's something that one of you was already doing, that the child was already doing, and that they were already talking to you about. But it's something that you can both kind of do. If you choose to do it that way. But one of the valid points that they really want to make is that it would go along with your channel, whether you did it or not. It's, they want to talk about, and what they are talking about is, what does your channel have to do with, or what would it have to do with if you chose to go that route? What would it have to do with? What would it include? All those kinds of things. Okay, so that is all that they have to say for this reading. So thank you very much, the child and the heart chakra as well, for allowing me to do this reading. I truly hope that it benefits you. Thank you so much. Namaste.